Hello and welcome to the Blackout podcast where I get to talk to amazing people who do amazing things. And today, have the super talented producer, writer, rapper, freestyler,
Jack all
artist,
trades.
Thr33D. Thanks for coming to the podcast today.
Hey, what's up, man?
I remember seeing you. I think it was at a Maoya event, and you were like the vibe, the intensity, the rhyme.
Yes,
So,
man,
like,
performing.
where did the music thing come from?
Man, I started when I was a kid. When I was listening to music, I noticed like I would change words of songs, and then eventually like I started getting instrumentals. And then once I was like, I'd probably say like 8 or 9, I started practicing putting words together over them. And then eventually I just started walking and just rapping every time I get time to walk.
Wow.
And then eventually I took that and on that strength to like freestyle and put words together, dealing with learning disabilities, like words, like writing and stuff like that. So I had to force myself to freestyle. I can't write lyrics at that time.
Wow.
Eventually I trained myself to do it, but at that time I was just stuck putting words together. But I put enough energy to freestyle from my brother and my cousins. They was like, oh, you definitely written that down. I was like, but I didn't. I didn't, so
Yeah.
that's how I started off really getting into the like words and rhyming and stuff like that. And then I would say 17, 16, I started producing.
Okay, so what were some of the artists you were listening to?
My favorite artist at the time, I was listening to lyricists. Like I used to listen to Corey Guns, a lot of Lil Wayne typically, but Corey Guns was like my main lyricist I'd go to, for real.
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
Corey Guns.
Why
Just
him?
the way he puts words together, it's just like you never would be able to think about like putting words like that. Yeah, and Big Pun, another one, crazy for sure.
Yes, big pun. So like, okay, so it's enough. I mean, or it's not enough that you're listening to music,
Yeah.
you're doing a freestyle, and now you're writing and stuff. You're like, okay, now I want to make my own beats.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
why did you decide to do that?
So yeah, I started releasing music on YouTube. I started posting on YouTube, and then I had a song. I was using YouTube beats, typical YouTube beats, type beats and stuff. So I posted the song, and it started getting a little bit of good traction. But the guy like striked it, so I was like, right? And then there's a notification. YouTube messaged me and told me the whole thing and stuff.
to
This
take
is
it down.
yeah, unless you want to pay for it and
Right.
do the contract. I was like, yeah, no, I don't need to do that. And I was already learning how to make beats, so I was like, I'm gonna just stay on this and just use my own beats. So within that span, I was like, I'm not dealing with all this. It's all my production. And then
Wow.
eventually, like within my ADHD, it's like I can do it all by myself, and I still stand on like trying to do everything by myself, and I'm trying to build a team, but it's like, oh, I could just do it myself, right? Like, hey, I don't need a cameraman to set the tripod up. I'll press the button, move out the way, I'm good, right? Like everything was just by myself at that time. I'm still jumping out of that realm, so yeah, that's what really got me with it. So.
And then when you're producing, what would be your process of producing?
My process, I would so basically I would go off of drums first. I would do a hi-hat, figure out the hi-hat, and then it's just figuring out snare placements, where the snare is, and then the hi-hat and the snare just follows everything with the song. And then melody and chords wise, I used to really make melodies a lot, and then eventually I just started sampling, but I used to make melodies a lot and really go to like, if I see people like, there's this way you can make beats, but it's just really like, so basically they will have all of the wave folder of the whole drums of the song, but it would just be like, it would just be the snare, but it'd be the whole wave folder, and then it'd be all the way through the song, but it'd just be the snare, and then there'd be the hi-hat, and then you just put them all together like a puzzle piece, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, I wanted to learn how to do it all myself, rather than I'll just download this whole thing and just put them all together. It's not really doing anything, it's just puzzles, right? I want to learn how to put the snare together, build the hi-hats, and change the hi-hats. I can't change anything, it's already made, right? Unless I'm cutting and chopping, right? And this is pointless. So I prefer to just do it all myself and learn. So
what
Yeah.
app do you use to produce?
I was using this old one. It was called Mixcrafters. My cousin put me on it at the time, but then eventually I was trying to get FL Studios, but I never was able to get FL Studios. Every time my homie had it on his disk drive or whatever, and he was trying to give it to me, never gave it to me. So I was like, I'm gonna just keep using mixed crafters, and then it'd be the demo version. So you can't really save anything. You can't really, you know what I mean? So you're limited. I
Right.
can like record the song from my laptop and then send it to people and show them, be like, yeah, I'm putting in work, right? And then I can't save it. You
Right.
know what I mean? So I
Right,
was like,
right.
I got FL Studios and I started using that, and then I learned basically cracking how to crack FL Studios back then. Everybody was teaching all that stuff. So back then I did that. My stuff got deleted, so I ended up paying for it once I got older and stuff. But yeah, back then it was FL Studios eventually.
Wow. Okay, and then you mentioned that you're writing now.
Yeah, I write a
And
lot.
like with the writing, the process for that.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, this is the thing that gets me. I don't get writer's block. Like, if I have a punchline in my head, I always try to like write off of just off the air and then put like 4 bars of that punchline and then put the punchline. So if I can think of rhyme schemes off of that, and then it's exactly right. You understand
Yeah.
everything
It's
correlates.
like I want to get here. How do I get here?
Exactly, and there's so much things with words, right? You have
Right.
double meanings, you have multis, you have multi-syllables, like homonyms, like you have so much different things to do with words, like metaphors, similes, you know? And it's just like so much. And then at the same time, it's like everything's a vibe to even words, because you can phrase a word a certain way, and then it can mean a certain, like, it can mean it different ways, the way you phrase it, but it's the same word. You know what I'm saying? Even if you like pause for certain, like, you can pause in the middle of a song and it'd be like, they think you confused or something, but it's like,
No,
this is for the
I know what
dramatic
I'm
effect
doing.
for you to catch you in real quick, right? So that's what I like about music. And freestyling too, like putting words together just off top of the head, it just astounds me. And ever since I was a kid, it astounded me.
So, producing and writing, you're doing that for yourself. Do you do that for other people too?
Yeah, I'm writing a lot of different albums for artists right now. I'm trying to set the sessions up right now and get some songs going. But yeah, I'm writing some songs for some artists as well.
And how do you, I guess, one, decide the artist to work with, and what is that process when you're working with an artist?
So yeah, I'm working in a community studio. So running that community studio, I have a plethora of artists that I work with. So basically just figuring out the best vibe and the best like concrete songs that we're getting done, and then just keep trying to move forward and keep that momentum going and keep spinning with that. And then there's people that are just still learning, and then still cater to that, but I'm trying to keep the momentum going with all the artists to make sure wherever their goals are, we can set them and they're realistic and we can achieve them and then focus on the next one, right?
Just you saying that is like making my head spin. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Like, how do you
Yeah.
handle that?
Man, I've just been, I don't know, I enjoy being like independent and knowing that I have to cater, and teaching people as well. I like teaching people because I have an engineer that I'm training as well, and just teaching and knowing somebody wants to learn off me and they can soak up all the stuff that I have, because my imagination and my vocabulary is just through the roof. So it's like I hate saying stuff and it not getting done, right? Putting stuff in the air and then it just disappears. Like, no, that's why I like it with music. If I think of something, I think of a phrase, of a word, that's air right there. As soon as I say it, that's air. You know what I mean? And then that all came off of an idea. Now it's a whole song, a whole beat. I can perform it. I can do a music video for it now, right? I can get like royalties off it, you know? So there's so much different avenues in music, that like money in music, that I'm learning about, and I'm trying to wrap it all around and teach my artists that as well. So yeah,
That's the thing I wanted to touch. So you love the music,
definitely.
the love for it shows, but you gotta pay rent, right? You gotta buy gas and stuff. So
Exactly. Thank you.
how do you navigate the business part of the music thing?
Yeah, so I'm basically working on a website right now. So I'm gonna probably have it done at least the
You're
start.
doing it yourself too.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yes, man. So I'm gonna have my website set up basically, so you'll be able to book all my like any sessions that you want to have with me. Book your slots. All the prices will be situated. As soon as the price is paid, we meet at the door, bring you in the studio, and record and get music done, pretty much. And that's what I'm trying to move forward to, because I just do a lot of like freelance work offhand, and you know. And it's just like, we need to get contracts done and write down what we're doing. So it's more professional. I need to have it on a binder, because all the stuff I'm doing is off just word to mouth, you know? Like, here go, the song's done, and then it's just that. Like, I need to get more contracts done, so.
And another
Yeah.
thing that also, because like even at that show, you brought an artist on, so it's like there's this love for community and love for supporting people, kind of pushing them and their
Yeah.
work out there. Why is that important to you?
Oh man, that's the thing too. As much as I say independency, it feels good to have a team. Like I've been making music for so long, and I wanted to have somebody be long-term artists with me and be there for the long run and understand, okay, it's going to be a little bit, but once we full-blown hit, it's gonna go because my consistency level, I know how to push us to be consistent. Like if we have contracts for albums, I know how to push that consistency and I know how to get that done and boom, okay, now we're on the next one. Like I know how to set goals and actually try to achieve them and make them. And I have right now, like this year, I've been establishing a lot and covering a lot of ground with that. So
Yeah,
yeah, man, it's
no,
been
that's
really,
evident.
that's,
Then
man.
the name 3D, where did that come from?
So yeah, man. I was listening to an album when I was a kid. Well, it was a mixtape, and it was called Pre-Rings, right? And when I was a kid, I was thinking about names, and I wanted to stand out. So I was like, stand out. And my real name's Malik. So it's like I don't even know how the whole three came about, but I was fascinated with the number three. My birthday's on the 3rd. And then one day, just everything fell on three. It was weird. Like something crazy happened at 3 o'clock. It was the 3rd. The month, it was the 3rd of the month. You know what I mean? Like everything was the 3rd, and it was really weird. 2003, like you know what I mean? It was really weird. So eventually, like I was like followed up with that, and I was like three, and then I was like, okay, 3D. So eventually, it was just like three and then a D, and I was like, that's gonna be my name. I like it. I like it. And then eventually, it's just like I seen pre-rings, and the way he spelled it, it was like PR, and then it was 3-3. I was like, three. Okay then. So I just started spelling, you know what I'm saying? So I just put the THR and I put the 3-3 with it and I just kept following up with that. And then when I was pushing out music, I just kept saying 3D. But I had this realization before. 3D, my like rap name was originally supposed to be a clothing brand. Yeah, like I used to, when I
Oh,
was in my private school at the time, I had it on clothes and I used to sell it as clothes. So yeah, like
wow.
t-shirts and everything, jogging suit, yeah. And I sold it. I was making money like that when I was like in high school and stuff like that.
Is that gonna come back or?
Oh man, well, I'm a producer now and I'm hobby music, so I'm gonna do hobby music more than anything with 3D. It's just 3D is my artist, and then hobby music is the
Gotcha.
label brand. So hobby music when I
Oh,
was yeah, when I was in private school I had 3D, and then when I went to public school it was hobby music. I came up with hobby music when I was in English class, right?
what is the story about that name?
Yeah, so basically, I was home, I was on my way to school, and mom was always telling me if you're gonna get a job, make sure it's something that you love and enjoy. And I was like, okay, so hobby, like a hobby, right? That's how I phrased it as a hobby. So eventually I was sitting in English class and I was just writing raps. And then I said something of effect of hobby and I do this hobby for music or something like that. And then it just clicked like that, like, okay, hobby music. So I went home and I Googled hobby music to see if it was any copyrights on it. There was no copyrights for it. So I was like, okay, that's the name. So I followed up with making that like my record label name, like hobby music's my record label name. I had people working with me at that time in high school that was like gonna sign, that was like signing with me and stuff at the time, but it was just starting up at that time. Just like it's getting bigger now, but it's like hobby music was that building up and I knew that nobody thought of that name, so I was like, okay, now I have that originality now, so now it's
Mhm.
building off of that. So yeah.
Now, let's talk about the thing that captivated me is the performance. I mean, obviously, you have great beats,
Yeah.
great lyrics, but the performance brings it all together. So,
Yeah.
how do you like? Where do you get all that energy from? Where do you get all that energy from? How do you prefer? How do you
Man,
prepare for your performances?
that's the thing too. Like I really don't have like a routine or anything, man. I just
Wow.
go about like I did a lot of last minute shows. Like in the start of my like music journey when I was like 19 to 20, I was like really starting to push like, okay, I need to make money off of this. So only time I would go out if I was performing. And then eventually it would be me going out a lot. So I was like, okay, cool. So now I'm busy. So now it's last minute shows. So if it's last minute, this artist couldn't perform. So I need you to I'm on it. I'm gonna be there. So boom, show up there and then perform. And then eventually it's like, okay, we have downtime now. the DJ is trying to set up gear or something. He just has a couple beat, like, you know what I mean? Like DJ got to set up something. He just has a microphone set up in the speakers. He just got to set up all of his stuff on his computer. All it would be is like, okay, cool. Let me play this, take this hard drive, run these instrumentals, or play YouTube, and then just run YouTube beats, and I just freestyle till the DJ gets right.
Gotcha.
And then eventually it just trained me to be like, okay, spontaneous anytime. Somebody say freestyle, okay, let's go.
Wow.
Right? And another thing, I used to go on the streets and build crowds in freestyle. So I would tell people, like, I would train people to freestyle. Like, people be like, oh, I don't know how to freestyle. I'm like, okay, cool, let's do this. I would literally take them out for a week and go out on the streets, look for people out just chilling, hanging out. Be like, hey, you want to hear some freestyles? They'd be like, yeah. And then start freestyling. Hey, you make music, you freestyle too? And then we have a whole jam session just on the streets. 10 people, 15 people just sitting there on the streets just watching us. We just freestyling, kicking rhythms. People got cameras and stuff. There's people to this day got footage of me freestyling on the streets. I don't even know them. I'll never get that footage. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like that's what made me, like, inspired me to, like, okay, cool, this is something I can definitely do. It's easy, right?
Wow.
So yeah, definitely.
So the other thing that shows is your love for music. Why do you love music so much?
Oh man, like I was saying before, it's ideas. I can orchestrate ideas, and there's so much different avenues to orchestrate ideas. Like I can orchestrate my idea, and it doesn't even have to be just in the song. I can orchestrate it through a music video. I can orchestrate it through I can orchestrate it through the whole beat. I can make the beat actually pull somebody's attention. And there's a song called Read, I did. So it's basically a sample from this movie, and the girl is basically, it's like an old school movie. I'm old school like that. You know what I mean? It was like 1989 type movie or type thing, or late like that. But basically the girl, she's trying to get into dancing, and she's living in the ghetto and things. And basically how that whole story is, she has her sisters and her siblings coming in her room, interrupting. She's trying to play a record. And then she was saying, man, your kids is messing up my record, right? And then she's like, man, they didn't even know which record it was. Them kids don't even know how to read, right? And that's the sample I chopped and I put it into the song, right? Wow. And then doing that is, okay, now I have that message, because when I was a kid, I had lots of reading, like struggles with reading a lot. To this day, like I have dyslexia. So I struggle a lot with reading and writing. So that really, like, I can sample that. So understanding that whole idea and showing, you listen to the song, you can understand, okay, he doesn't need to like read. He has that all in his brain. Like my vocabulary is through the roof. When it comes to writing and orchestrating it on paper, it's like, I can only do verses. If it's like writing applications, anything like that, oh man, it's like, I need help, right? So it's just understanding like strengths and weaknesses and putting the other people's strengths within that weakness, and understanding where their weakness is and putting your strength to that weakness so it's balanced. And that's what I'm learning a lot about myself.
Okay. I usually send guests away with this question, and curious to hear your answer. What's something that happened before you were 17 that plays a huge role in who you are today?
Something that plays a huge role before I was 17. I would say when I was a kid, my dad used to always play Malcolm X and Louis Farrakhan and Martin Luther King. So when I was a kid, like I would say like 8, 7, I used to be sitting sitting with him, just listening to it, watching it on TV, and just soaking up the knowledge and the like our history, you know what I mean? Our roots, our knowledge, what we have, and our rights of what we can do as our peoples. You know what I mean? Like that's what I full blown learned, is that, and building that righteousness and that rebelliousness. To this day, I still try to hold that dear to me and not try to compromise myself within any of that. So I want to stay like, if I feel frustrated within something, it's not taking that out on our own people. It needs to be the actual person that's, you know what I mean, that's actually causing it. You know what I mean? If the government's doing some mashup stuff, why is people on the streets trying to shoot their own cousins, their own brothers? Like, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense with me. I understand there's conflicts and violence happens and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. I understand that, but it's like, at the same time, we need to figure out the real cause of this stuff. What's really the reason? Like, you know what I mean? So.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. You brought some magic when you perform, so I want to share a little bit of magic of my own.
Oh
So
shoot. All right.
there's a marker there. Write a
Yes.
number between 1 and 60. Okay. So your number again can be in one or more cards, right? Is it here?
Nah.
Okay. Is it here?
Yeah.
It's here. Okay. Is it here?
Yeah.
It's here. Okay. Is it here?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is it
Nah.
here? No.
Nah.
Is it here?
Nah.
Is it 21?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, Malik,
Yeah.
3D, thanks for coming.
I
Hey,
know.
I can't let you leave the studio without giving at least one song.
Ah, true.
Okay,
Respect.
cool. But thanks so much for coming to the podcast. I'll clear out and then you can do your thing.
All right, for sure, man. Yeah, there's it. Okay. Hey. Lazy, y'all.
I hit him and get him and shake him and break on the day for tomorrow. Losing my marbles with a soul you died 2,000 times. For just to mention my pen independent. Got a team with the charm and the ice independent. It's swinging and shining. You see it, it's blinding. Got go like a proper. Always be aligned and flow anywhere like the water be gone. You get it and got it hit, bobbing, hit naughty. You learn it and listen. The jury still glisten. The gloss and it's shining. Always be rhyming. I'm tapped into what's happening. So what's happening? I'm hacking the net. Start the hacking you check. Feeling it breaking and crack. I'm a real great, so that means a way past from the bad. So we ain't after your neck. We just after a check. Get the check. Gotta check. Just check. What's next? This next. Pouring a lean for the stress. So we pass every test. So this just a quest. And we all in. They say that too many. We already brought more in. We soaring. Fly, they ain't see like a satellite. Way too fly, roof top high, clouds sky high. Hit the lid, why try? Get the plug, Wi-Fi. Tell them jump how high. Get them slump with the pump. Look them up this high. Who am I? That guy. Oh, you try die? Cook in the front, cracking the doors. Trees color like an orange. Getting the pulp and then we pop it. Starting to shop and hand don't stop it. So handle your target proper. So we have to go ahead, arm it, find you, get them waste. They got you, tell bro, they some punks. So click back, aim it, head top, leave it leaking, dangerous. Rotten, stankin', brainless, by the stainless. They say shit, don't say shit. I'm trying to stay nameless, but still famous on some strange shit. They tap, they thinking that we some deranged kids that can't tame us.
Come on.